Look, we are matching all these earthly colors. Your shirt, my shirt.
Your shirt is not the right color. We need to feel confident today. Oh my God, look at this. The
That inspires confidence.
Whose heart doesn't skip a beat when you see a Lexus car and an SUV standing like this, the LX 500D. We are here at Meet the Leaders. What are you doing?
Rohan, look.
Don't talk to us like this. We are here to meet the president of Lexus India, which is Mr. Naveen Soni san, and he's just going to ruin it. These antiques
Look
here.
at that red paint job.
Oh my God, what a paint job.
I don't think anybody does paint as well as Lexus does in the industry, by the way. Oh, and by the way, just out of curiosity, the person we're meeting today, absolute industry veteran.
I can't believe you're saying the same to meet him.
Look at that. It's been a while since we met him, isn't it?
I met him at the Auto Expo.
Same.
It was a fantastic conversation. Same, you were there, no?
Yeah.
Yesterday evening I called you and I said, Cyrus, I'm so stoked I can't sleep.
Oh my God.
And literally, wheels do that to people. And so with that as the context, let's get started with the first question.
Sure.
In the attempt of knowing you more, Naveen san,
Yeah.
when did wheels, cars and its charm enter your life? When did you first fall in love with cars?
As long as my memory goes, I was always fascinated about two things, films and cars. And obviously couldn't be an actor, so I had to be a part of the auto industry. I still fondly remember there were many choices post my education was complete, but always wanted to spend my life working for automobile companies, doing sales and marketing for an automobile company, and here I am.
So you said films and cars, right? In that case, the obvious other question is, what's your favorite movie car?
I don't have a favorite, but I enjoy Formula One. In addition, I think oldest memory goes when, say Rajesh Khanna is driving an open Jeep alongside and singing songs, etc. So those are very interesting memories that I have. But yes, it has been a long journey for me personally, yeah.
And when you say long, just for context for our audience, how many years does this journey span?
1992 to now, 31 years, yes.
That's nearly your age, by the way.
Yes, that is.
Tailor-made customer experiences is what Lexus really is all about, right? Customer experiences, tailor-made for them. Can you tell us more about how is this tailor-made experience, Lexus experience, achieved for a customer when they walk into?
In this luxury car industry, everybody is capable of supplying good technology, good features, good designs, but the experience is what remembers. Basically, what we've been trying to do is getting to know who my guests are. We don't call them customers, we call them guests. So who's my guest and what is his passion point? There's a very careful intent to know our guests better. The program is called Lexus Life. So we have tried to include those aspects into bringing unique, unforgettable, money can't buy experiences into the process of being just a mobility provider. We would like to be luxury lifestyle provider.
Can you give us a wild example that completely took somebody off guard?
Recently, 1.5 years back, there was floods in Bangalore, and unfortunately, there were a few Lexus vehicles which were flooded. So the first thing the team did was reach out to those guests and say, is there anything that we can do to make sure that that part of your worries are taken care of? What we did was an equivalent car. If he had an ES alternative was provided to him till such time that the car was repaired. Some extreme cases, I think there were total loss vehicles also. So we still promised them a loaner car. I'm just quoting that guest of mine said that that brings hashtag Lexus for life.
That's tremendous. Huh? It's very personalized luxury.
See, that is why I tell you to keep posting on Instagram a lot more.
I'm
You
doing-
take a lot of pictures
Of you.
of me sleeping
Yes,
sometimes.
sleep,
But
yeah. I have a series running on Instagram, by the way. Hashtag Cyrus sleeping in a car. You can find hundreds of pictures doing that.
I've opened the Pandora's box here.
My God,
Yeah.
it looks like.
Okay, my next question here.
Yeah.
Our market, is it similar to other countries when it comes to Lexus as a brand? It's the pinnacle of luxury. Many countries really look up to it, lap it up very effortlessly.
I think, as I narrated a while ago to you, it's about the experiences that you have with us, which make you remember us differently, and that's the reason why people like to come back to us. Take good care of them. You are insulating your business from any further impacts that may happen. because of any market influences that might be there. And obviously, technology-wise, there's nothing lacking. We get wonderful technologies from Japan. We have promised and we have delivered hybrid technology to this nation. 99% of the product lineup is all hybrids.
Now, of course, hybrids are becoming more and more popular with the mass markets. Are you now seeing a big chunk of movement in the luxury car segment as well? Because people were still apprehensive.
There is a good rub-off effect that is happening on the luxury cars. It's a good marriage between the two technologies and the optimal mix of the two. And whatever little emissions that it's emitting, we are planting trees nearby to offset the pollution that still happens because of these ICE engine impacts here.
Right. And so with the increased demand towards hybrid, towards Lexus, with more awareness for what Lexus really stands for as a brand, is there any plans for dealership expansion now through the country?
We were very limited in terms of 4 outlets in some 4 cities that happened 2 years back. From there we've come to about 23 outlets in 16 cities. We've experimented there also in terms of what is important. There's a Japanese word called muda. Muda is basically waste. What we try to eliminate from luxury car showrooms is whatever is not necessary, please take it off. And therefore the size of the showroom comes to a more manageable size. We call them mirakis. Miraki is a Greek word that something that you do out of love, passion and pride. We think that we do everything out of these 3 words,
And it shows, it reflects in everything that you do. And there is another Japanese word that I have taken to my heart when I first saw the Lexus LS 500H. The word was omotenashi.
Omotenashi.
Omotenashi. Can you, for our audience, briefly explain what this philosophy is?
We call it Atithi Devo Bhava in India. And that's roughly translated. Omotenashi means anticipating needs and going beyond customers' need and fulfilling those needs. And just to complete the story about Mirakis, if you go to the Pune Miraki, the thing that we've removed from there is the car itself. What we've realized is in a luxury car showroom, the customer comes when he has actually matured to a level of understanding. He has the car at his doorstep for test drives, etc. So why should a showroom have a display of vehicles is what we thought. That's a place for interactions, that's a place for creating Lexus Life events, for curating their passion points. Therefore, we thought that car is unnecessary.
That's a brave move, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you can go to that extent.
I think you should come to him a little bit more because this,
Yes,
of course, is
we should
meet
get
the
back to it.
leaders.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you started off. I mean, where did you go to college and school, for example? And you said your first job was the automotive industry. So maybe that whole journey is what we need to know about.
I'm a small town boy. I come from, my roots go back to Jaipur and went to schooling in Jaipur, and after that finished my engineering from Jodhpur and again in Rajasthan. But after that I said I must branch out, and then I went all the way to Pune, and I finished my management education from there. And then finally, when the options were in front of me, amongst them there was one automobile major company which was situated in Bombay. As I said, couldn't get into film, so Bombay, at least I could get into an automobile company. Started my journey there. Very, very interesting journey of about 9 years in various forms and shapes. That company gave me various challenges to work and perform, and then I moved to Bangalore with Toyota finding its roots in India, 2001. They've been an excellent company to offer various kind of job profiles. The most interesting is the most recent one where they asked me to head Lexus, and that's where I am currently. And it's been a good, rewarding, enriching learning journey for me personally.
Amazing, but hang on, he's made it all look very easy. Yeah. So I want, so I want to go back a little to your interviews, for example. Sure. Did you get nervous back then, like I got nervous before this interview today? Do leaders have these issues?
The way I look at it and the way I soothe my nerves is live that moment beforehand. If you are trying to meet somebody, go online, look around, what is that person all about? Believe you me, if you're meeting somebody for the first time and your opener is, how was your stay in, say, Jakarta that you were there? The ice would melt before your nose. Because it's all about, putting at ease. So mistakes will happen when your emotions are heightened, or where you are not your natural self. Other thing is about not just knowing that person, but the subject matter that you want to talk to the person. If you have command over that, I mean, if you were to put me here and say, talk about startups in Bangalore, I think I'll be put at most at unease, But at the same time, if you were to talk to me about automobiles, talk to me about luxury cars, I think I'm living that day in and day out. So it's like, you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the night, I'll say the same things that I'll say right now.
What does a day look like in Naveen Soni's life?
See, it's been last 1.5 to 2 years, it's been work from home. So typically my day starts maybe around 6. It has to be my dog who's wagging his tail next to my bed, trying to wake me up and then telling me that it's time to go for a walk. My moment of truth, if I were to tell you honestly, is when I'm having my shower. That's the time when I get best ideas that I kind of go out and implement, because you are with yourself. There's nobody to disturb your thought process, and there's coolness happening on your head. And start my day around 8:30. We have a very sharp rule in the organization that no meetings during lunch hour. Coming to evening, we try and wind up by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Between 6 and 6:30, where I do my yoga practice, and then again my pet is waiting for his evening walk. That's another time where I always kind of refresh the day as to what has gone by and what could have been done better than what has been done, and then plan for the next day. And after that, watch TV, read sometimes, and then family chit chat, and then go off to sleep. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions I love asking everybody, and not just in an MTL setting, but generally, because you can really get to know the person well. What was your first ever car?
So I learned driving, I must tell you a secret. I learned driving on my dad's Premier Padmani. I think if I'm passionate about cars, my dad was 1 or 2 levels higher than this. Wow. The family joke is that, that in case something goes wrong on the road, and his wife is also sitting there, which is my mother, he'd be first looking out for the vehicle,
What a coincidence.
then the car.
And what was the first car you bought?
I bought again a second-hand Premier Padmani. I think one of the happiest days of my life. I still remember going back from work instead of in a bus. I thought everybody should be clapping at that point of time.
Do you remember the number? Do you remember the number of the car?
Yes, 2465.
The passion runs deep. Naveen sir, you slightly touched upon topic of your bosses, and you've seen people handle certain situations. Who's been your source of inspiration?
I've always carried one message that I again learned from one of my bosses only, that a good boss teaches you what to do, but he also teaches you what not to do. There's this memory that I have from my Singapore days. I had come across one manager who I believe had his staff willing to do anything for that individual. So I interviewed him to understand the trade secrets, and he told me that on a Saturday evening they would sit down, have a drink, and he would initiate the discussion about criticizing the company or criticizing something which is not going right. He said there would be a volcano erupting after that. Nothing gets taken home, because whatever you have to say, if that's initiated by your boss, you feel free. So I think every person teaches you a lot more about life. Every person teaches you what not to do. That's very important, because otherwise you may make the same mistakes again.
What not to do, I think, is a great learning for a lot of people. With successes obviously come failures. It's a two side of the same coin. What's been your biggest learning curve failure? What's been that one instance where something didn't go your way, but you really sort of took away a lot of teachings from it?
I think failures are a very essential part of anybody's life. Either you could not plan for it, or something went outside the plan that you could not anticipate. From that point of view, in the world that you and I live in, nothing can be predicted, right? What is happening today may not happen tomorrow. For us to kind of imagine that everything will fall into place exactly the way that you have planned is a misconception. So from that point of view, we fail every day, right? But I don't attach any negative connotation to that word failure. Failure is just the way that helps you prepare better for tomorrow.
That's insane. I knew that I was going to come in here and learn a whole lot of things, but thank you for putting things in so clear perspectives. While you're talking about what to do, what not to do, failure, success, when you put a team together, what are the qualities that you look for in people that make for a great team and help you become a great leader?
The most important thing is how well that person can be good fit into that environment. So basically teamwork. From work perspective, we don't look at At least I don't look at what he has done, but what he's capable of doing. How honest, how truthful, how genuine is that person makes him a better qualified person. You can then take him on, and that individual can grow to become whatever superstar that you want him to be or her to be.
Would Cyrus, for example, qualify to be hired in your team, or would he not? The question is asked to Naveen San here, and would I qualify?
In all fairness, would we?
I think both of you have tremendous qualities, because I've seen your work. It stands out for itself, and what is amazing is that that you are living your life, you're living your dreams, and both of you are doing an excellent job, and I wish you very best all.
Thank you so much for the kind praise.
So I think a follow-up question from your portfolio of lovely cars standing around. If you had to assign one car for him and one car for me, what would you assign?
For him, I'll give the coupe, and for you, I'll give the LX.
Yes. What's your favorite out of the whole lineup?
I think a weekend car is definitely a coupe. But if it's a family car, then probably what is coming soon is the LM. I think it interests me a lot. From my portfolio, I think that's one of my favorites, yeah.
I mean, obviously the new LM will come to India, but we saw the last gen LM at the Auto Expo. And if that's that impressive inside, it's
you
like a
have to-
first class cabin,
It's
right?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, it's
And-
beyond first class, like a private jet.
Yeah, and if you see the kind of detailing that they've done, and the big screen TVs that engage so that they can carry on with their lifestyles. They move from the office into the car and then continue business as if nothing has changed.
One question I want to ask, which is not in the list that Cyrus has put together, because I don't know how he can miss, the Lexus LFA. Have you ever been in one? Have you driven one? And is there any remote chance of either of us getting our hands on one?
The LFA is iconic. LFA is the pinnacle of our technical capabilities of going beyond what the customers want. And it was a limited edition, so only 500 of those were produced ever. So I was so fortunate that I was in Singapore, and Singapore got some 6 of those 500 vehicles. And the car rooms, sounds different, and everything is next level.
I hope you do answer this, but is there another automotive manufacturer, maybe the Germans, maybe the Koreans, anybody else that you really look up to as a mighty rival, as something that's that's something that does go up against Lexus?
Honestly, I think we are taking baby steps in this market. We are just 6 years old. We are trying to understand our guests better. Of the 6 years, unfortunately, 1.5 to 2 years went into COVID. But at the same time, it's been highly enriching and rewarding. But at the same time, we learn what not to do from competition.
There were talks when I was researching that compared to 2022, the sales figures would double in 2023. How does this happen? What makes the brand so confident?
See, there's a huge amount of energy that has gone behind the scenes in terms of, putting together whatever learnings, knowledge base that we've created over the last 6 odd years. And the guests who bought these cars give us a lot of confidence today that they would be willing to, pull out their checkbooks for the next vehicle that is coming from our side. But at the same time, I think what we can clearly see is that India itself is on the cusp of rapid growth, and luxury cars is one very good expression that many people would like to use as a part of their I am their arrival strategy.
Right. We're going to get into rapid fire, which means I'll talk continuously without a break and you will answer without a moment's pause. Looks or performance?
Performance.
Performance or luxury?
Performance.
Books or movies?
Movies.
Sachin or Virat?
Sachin.
LC or LX?
LC for the weekend, LX for the weekday.
Too long an answer for a rapid fire round, but accepted nonetheless. Cricket or football?
Cricket.
Car or motorcycle?
Car.
V8 or electric vehicle?
EV.
Ooh, talent or experience?
I think it is about talent.
Analog or digital?
Analog.
Analog. Oh, wow. He knew you. You bet right. Then I have one finale question that I want to ask. Luxury has a lot of definitions for a lot of people. What is your definition of luxury?
For me, luxury stands for freedom of expression without any inhibition. I am allowed to say, do what I want, okay, without somebody telling me these are the taboos that you don't have to follow. I think in this constrained world, if you have that, it's truly luxury.
Not many people do actually.
Cyrus here does not really care about inhibitions or how the other person will perceive anything anyways. You should just look at his social profile and that will tell you that. So in that sense, he's living the most luxurious
I am.
journalist life. Thank you so much for every answer and every bit of learning that we will draw from this. On behalf of the audience and PowerDrift at large, the community, journalists,
Thank you.
thank you for having us.